You are watching No Filter with Debbie. These are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? What's driving me crazy is that Joe Biden and his administration, like every liberal administration before them, whether it was the Obama administration, the Bill Clinton administration, and what have you, they all promised to be the most transparent, the most open, giving answers, giving responses, giving information. But instead, with Jen Psaki, I would say we have a master denier, a master avoider, a master dodger. She's not very masterful at it at all. It's it's very obvious and it's very annoying. She won't answer a question. She won't tell you anything that Joe Biden stands for, but we already know. He stands for the far left. We saw that when he was running for office. We saw that when he was nominated at the Democratic convention. We saw that when he was inaugurated. We saw that with all of his appointments, some of which are in peril, and we'll tell you about that later in the show. And we see it on a daily basis with Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary. So John Kerry said something ridiculous about climate change and the deadlines. And I want you to take a look at what Jen Psaki said about it.
Just quickly on climate. Last week, the climate envoy, John Kerry, said that there are only 9 years left to save the world from the effects of climate change. Does President Biden share that assessment? 9 years.
I don't have a new timeline to give you from here. I can confirm for you, though, that the president agrees with former Secretary Kerry that it's a crisis, that time is of the essence. We need to act quickly, and that's why climate is a key part of his agenda.
Did you hear an answer in that? Does Joe Biden agree with the 9-year timeline? That's a yes or no. And she spent several seconds, many sentences, not answering the question. 9 years, John Kerry says, that we have until the whole world basically overheats. And now they can't use global warming anymore because we saw what happened in Texas. We see what's happening in the country. There's not global warming, there's global cooling. So they changed the name to climate change, and that will be a catch-all, cover-all for everything that they claim is happening, which isn't happening. The world goes through cycles. We had the Ice Age. Remember that? No, of course we don't. We weren't around. But they had the Ice Age. They have overheating. That's what happens. Things are cyclical, and man cannot change that. Does man contribute to it? That's debatable. But even if there is man made global warming or climate change, the fact is that even if we did everything that Joe Biden wants us to do and John Kerry wants us to do and abide by the Paris Accords, which China and India are not abiding, and France is not abiding by, even if we did all of those things, that might, in 30 to 50 years, lower the temperature of the earth by a fraction of a percent. That's not going to do anything. Nothing. And so she did not answer the question. These doom and gloom predictions. You know, I have a great site you should go to, and it's a parody site. It's called the Babylon Bee. And the Babylon Bee had a headline that was similar to what John Kerry and the left do. They keep changing this timeline. They remember Ted Turner? Ted Turner, who was the founder of CNN. Ted Turner, billionaire. We haven't heard from him in years. Maybe he's on somebody's death pool. I don't know. But Ted Turner said that by the year 2020, it might have been earlier, maybe it was 2010. He said that at least by the year 2020, the earth would be all overheated. The United States would be burnt to a crisp. There would be no snow, no winter anymore, no North Dakota. Everything would be Miami weather and worse. And Miami would be like a desert or worse. None of that came to fruition. We still have water. We still have snow. We still have winter. None of these things happened. Texas is freezing over. Well, now it's thawing, but it did freeze over. So all of this doom and gloom by these people is ridiculous. And now John Kerry, no scientist, he is saying 9 years. And you heard that was Deucey the Deuce from Fox News. I don't know if he's Peter or Steve Ducey, so we call him Ducey the Deuce, and it's too hard to keep track of the Fox News Duceys. He asked her, does Joe Biden agree with the 9-year timeline? And she won't answer the question. And the reason she won't answer the question is because if Joe Biden does agree with that, then he's going to yank the plug on all fossil fuel there is tomorrow. And if he doesn't, then I guess he's committing malpractice. And I guess he's going to let Americans die. And if he does not believe in it, then he's saying he does not have confidence in the man he just appointed to be his climate change czar. So, of course, he's not going to answer. He's not going to be the most transparent or even one of the most transparent or one of the most responsive administrations in modern history. He's the least. You heard her dodges. And this website I told you about, the Babylon Bee, they had a headline that it's going to be 12 years. There's a 12-year timeline until the global warming climate change fanatics change their timeline of when the earth is going to end and when it's going to be too late. And that is supposed to be satire, but sadly it is fact because they keep changing their timelines because they're not scientists. This is junk science. They don't know what they're talking about. And even the scientists that do agree with them, there are other scientists that disagree. And so far, the global warming scientists have been proven wrong. We're all still here. Winter is still here. Snow is still here. North Dakota is still freezing, although it's coming for a relative thaw. So there's that. Now, Jen Psaki was asked about the Canadian border. And we know in North Dakota that the border between Canada and North Dakota is closed. And it's very disruptive. It's disruptive to a lot of businesses and a lot of workers that normally, before COVID, would have gone back and forth easily over the border. It's also disruptive to Canadians because Canadians, as much as they claim to hate America and love Canada more, 90% of them live within 100 miles of the U.S. border. And the reason that is because they rely upon us more than we rely upon them. Yes, Canada is our biggest trading partner, but Canada needs us more than we need them. And the fact is that a lot of these Canadian hunting lodges, these Canadian resorts, we talked about this a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago on this show. We've been following it since the beginning, that a lot of these Canadian resorts, Canadian tours, Canadian hunting businesses, they are up Bleeps Creek. Why? Because they don't have customers. They rely on American tourism. So we know that the border is closed, but apparently Jen Psaki may not know. Look at this tweet from Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. She is from northern New York. I believe she represents Buffalo in that area. So she sent out this tweet. Despite PressSec, that's the account for Jen Psaki, seemingly not knowing the U.S.-Canada border has been closed to non-essential travel for nearly a year, or why it's important to millions of Americans, I urge President Biden to safely reopen it ASAP. This has been a Northern Border Caucus priority for months. And by the way, the of Congress and the U.S. Senate are in the Northern Border Caucus. Why? Because we in North Dakota rely on Canadian tourists for business. They come to North Dakota for hunting. They come to North Dakota for other reasons. Some of them work in the oil and energy industry and so on. And a lot of that has been curtailed or stopped completely. So look at this video of Jen Psaki talking about this.
We're talking a lot about the economic relationship and restarting the North American economy. Would the reopening of the border be discussed, considered? Because this is a major point, like blocking the economies from working.
The Canadian border?
Yes, the Canadian-U.S. border being closed for a year now. Do you know if it's going to be discussed and if we can see an end to this in the short run?
Related to COVID-19 or related to?
So in the roadmap, there's this discussion of restarting the North American economy. We have the COVID crisis at the moment, but the closing of the border and the possibility of improving the economies between the country and the North American economy at large. you think they'll be discussing the reopening of the border faster than not?
I'm sure there'll be a range of topics discussed, and obviously they'll both bring up issues. I can only speak to what President Biden will bring up, and we'll have a readout after the meeting.
The Canadian border? She asked that because she does not know that the Canadian border is closed. This is ridiculous. She is uninformed, and that should tell you a lot about the Biden administration and its priorities. They do not care about the northern border states. Why? Because most of those states voted for Trump. And even the states that did not vote for Trump, they have a lot of red voters in them. They don't care about us. It's really ridiculous and outrageous that they don't know this about the northern border. And by the way, good on him, that reporter, Pepe Le Pew. In case you didn't know from his accent, he's French Canadian. So when we come back, we'll show you more video of Jen Psaki dodging and avoiding and weaving on important issues facing America right now. And also, the Oval Office is back, sort of, and Barack Obama also is back. Sadly, he never left. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your number one choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality. Did you know the Foundation for Rural Service awards scholarships for rural students? The scholarships range from $2,500 to $7,000. Go to www.frs.org for information and applications.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather, like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, we were talking about White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, who doesn't want to answer any questions. She doesn't want to tell us the truth because they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know where they really stand. If they knew that, if they did that, and if we knew that, well, you and I know that, but the general American public, if they knew that, they would be alarmed because Joe Biden has pretended to be all things to all people. And then he's also pretended to be a moderate. And he's not moderate. He is to the left, to the far left, just like the rest of his party. That is the tail that is wagging the dog. So we all know that teachers going back to school and teaching kids in person is essential. Kids have now lost a year of their education. A year. They are behind in reading. And I've seen stories in newspapers where school districts and teachers are saying, well, don't worry that your kid can't read yet. Don't worry that your kid is a year behind in learning. It doesn't matter. Your kid will catch up. No, they won't. This is a problem. They've lost a year of learning and sitting at home watching on a computer. They're falling asleep. They can't concentrate. They miss the social interaction with other students. There just isn't what's necessary. There's cheating going on. How can you take a test? Nobody's watching you, and the teacher knows you didn't cheat. That's not going to happen. There's no way to verify that. There's just a lot of problems. We know the suicide rate of kids has gone up because they're cooped up. We know that all kinds of drug overdoses have happened. There are a lot of problems. Child abuse has gone up. The reporting of child abuse has gone down because teachers can't see it through Zoom. We've covered a lot of this on this show since we began last summer. And it continues. And these teachers, they're drama queens. They don't want to go back to school. They wrote, we told you on this show, fake wills and fake obituaries. They're drama queens. Kids do not transfer the virus to adults. That's been proven. Kids do not get the virus. That's been proven. Yes, very few. Those very few are the exceptions to the rule. More than likely, these teachers will spread it from their home to other teachers. But again, there are rules for that. Everything is accounted for. If you can go to a restaurant or a supermarket or a gas station, a convenience store, and social distance and wear masks, you can do that at schools. If everybody else can work, teachers can work. If people can work as cashiers at the supermarket, teachers can work. But they don't want to. Why? Because they are collecting income no matter what. Their unions arranged it. So even when the schools were closed, when there were lockdowns of everybody, and before there was distance learning, these teachers were getting paid to sit around. So they got beyond the $1,000 a week unemployment. They got their full pay. They didn't have to do anything for it, and they don't want to lose that. So these activist teachers unions are pushing against it. And Jen Psaki was asked about this, and here's what she had to say.
Unrelated question. What is this president's view toward the loyalty that teachers' unions should have towards students? This president is a strong supporter of unions, public sector unions. Is a teachers' union's obligation to the workers and their concerns about safety? Or is the teachers' union obligation also to students?
Well, I can't speak to the obligations or I'm not a spokesperson for the teachers union. I'm a spokesperson for the President of the United States. So I can convey to you that his commitment is to the students and to the teachers and to the parents who want to have their kids back in school. And he wants to do that safely. And that's what his focus is on, and that's the role he can play from the federal government.
So she didn't answer the question, and essentially Joe Biden has a split personality because he's for the parents who want their kids back in school, she said, and for the teachers and the teachers' unions. Well, you can't have it both ways. Unless he's Sybil and has like a zillion different personalities, which may have been fake also. You just can't have it both ways. She did not answer the question. She said, I'm not the teachers' union spokesman. Well, guess what? The teachers' unions are a significant constituency of the Democrat Party. Both major teachers' unions, the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association, both of them are far left. One is more far left than the other, the NEA, but both of them are left-wing, and they both endorse Joe Biden for president. So in a lot of ways, she is their spokesperson, and Joe Biden is on their side. He is not on the side of parents who want their kids to go back to school, or he would have spoken out about it and told teachers to buck up. You know who did that? President Trump. Joe Biden does not have the guts. Now, I want to show you this video of what teachers who apparently can't teach, but here's what they can do. Watch this. All right, so those were teachers from Montgomery County, Maryland, which is suburban Washington, D.C. This is where all the liberal government workers, the bureaucracy, this is where they live. And their teachers do not want to go back to work, but they can go in their cars and drive around. They probably hit the supermarket and did other errands and were in close contact with people at all of those places, but yet they can't be in social distancing with with their students and with fellow teachers. This is the hypocrisy, and she won't answer the question. Joe Biden is for the teachers' unions. He won't speak out in favor of many desperate parents around the country, many of whom have had to quit their jobs because they don't have the option of working from home, or because even if they did, instead they have to spend the day monitoring their children to make sure that they're distance learning and staying out of trouble. And you heard the other day that a whole school board resigned because they said that parents want their babysitters back, and we're not going to do that. Well, guess what? Schools are babysitters. Unfortunately, that's the way of the world today because of feminism. Both parents have to work now because the economy adjusted to women working. And so now both parents have to work in most cases, unless you want to make a lot of sacrifices. And they do need somewhere to put their kids. And guess what? That was the schools. So to pretend now that that's not the case and attack parents over this is absurd. All right, when we come back, Joe Biden, instead of being with Jen Psaki and telling her to answer these questions, he's been busy with the important work of some dogs. And we'll show you more about it. You're not going to believe some of the things that your tax money at the White House is going to fund. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Beck Communications is hiring. Beck Communications is seeking qualified candidates for plant technicians in our Wheatland, North Dakota location. Beck Communications is an equal opportunity employer. To view the job details, visit www.beck.coop. To apply, email your cover letter and resume to careers@bechtel.coop. Beck Communications, making connections that matter.
If you're a Beck Fiber customer or the dependent of a Beck Fiber customer, you might qualify for scholarships. Beck awards scholarships to seniors headed to college or to students attending University of Mary. Go to www.beck.coop for eligibility guidelines and applications.
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Did you know the Foundation for Rural Service awards scholarships for rural students? The scholarships range from $2,500 to $7,000. Go to www.frs.org for information and applications.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, we were showing you a lot of Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, dodging questions, not telling you where Joe Biden stands, but we know where he stands. And by the way, when she is not dodging questions, he's busy doing things. Or while she's busy dodging questions, he's busy doing things. And what is he busy doing? Well, not the business of making things better for America. And maybe that's a good thing since his agenda is not making things better for America. But he's busy with the White House dogs. And your tax money is going to promote the White House dogs. And I'll tell you what this is all about. Everybody loves dogs. Even if you're not a dog lover and you don't have a dog pet as a pet, everybody from a distance likes dogs. Dogs are man's best friend. And this is about wasting tax money to campaign for Joe Biden. This is a Joe Biden campaign move. This is publicity and PR for him. That, oh, look, the dogs, and Joe Biden's working and the dogs are around him, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So we showed you this really ridiculous account that the White House had for the dogs. And they have somebody assigned to this. What do you do for a living? Oh, I head up the White House dog account, the Oval Office. So there was this account, the Oval Office, which was the account of the Dotus and Cotus, the dog of the United States and the cat of the United States. And apparently that is no longer the account, because look what happened from the Oval Office. Look what happened to it. It's been suspended by Twitter. I've had that happen to me. So I don't know why they suspended the Oval Office, because they never suspend liberal accounts. Who knows? But it said it violated the rules. I don't know. Maybe they didn't give the cat full equal time. Maybe the cat didn't get equality, or maybe there really isn't a cat and it was fictional, or maybe they didn't share their pronouns. So now there's a new account, the First Dogs account. Look at this. There they go. They got those pronouns for the First Dogs of the United States. You know, in case you didn't know that it's two male dogs. So apparently there wasn't a cat. Maybe it was the dog Champ. I don't know. But the dogs are named Champ and Major. And they have those pronouns just in case you thought that these two male dogs might be non-binary and identify as chick dogs. They want you to, just to be clear. Oh, and also good boy is a pronoun now. So they didn't mean to, but they're kind of mocking that whole pronoun thing. Yup, even the dogs have to be politically correct. Now, I want to show you some of these tweets. This is the priorities of the President of the United States in the time of the pandemic when people are hurting. All right, so apparently the dog believes in ebonics because, and also in judging people for their weight, because ebonics term thick with two C's, they don't believe. Dogs, apparently in dog ebonics, there is no K. So thick squirrel, the squirrel is fat. Boy, I'm so glad the White House is spending time on this. I happy. All right, yeah, again, the dog speaks dog ebonics, just like Joe Bonics. All right, let's see the next one. First order of business, Zoom with other good boys of America. Yeah, see, Joe Biden is Zooming with the dog. That's probably, by the way, what he thinks he's doing. You know, because he's losing his mind. He probably thinks everybody he is Zooming with is Champ or Major. All right, let's see the next one. told Major humans keep snacks in those face things. He's gone to find a doggo-sized one. Oh, ha 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 ha! The dog was told that there's snacks inside the masks. So what does that mean? He's gonna assault everyone and take their masks off? I don't know. This is what the White House is spending time on. Somebody is getting paid to do this full time. While Americans are starving, some of them in Texas were freezing, and now they have no water. All right, let's see the next tweet. Do we have another one? Or is that it? All right. The boys are back in town. So, again, doesn't believe in the letter K, spells things in doggy bonics. All right. Thank God that's the last one we have for the day. But just remember, this is what your tax money is paying for in the Biden White House. People are out of work. People are on unemployment at the largest numbers since the Depression. And Joe Biden and the White House are worried about tweeting as dogs in doggy bonic. God, this is who people voted for in America. I just can't believe that over 80 million people voted for that. I just don't believe it. I just can't. All right. Now, just because you thought that Barack Obama was out of the limelight and he's going to let Joe Biden be president and steal all the press from him, you're wrong. Because with Barack Obama, it's all about him. It's only about him, and he wants to be out there. That's why he never left Washington, D.C. That's why he still has a mansion there. He wants to control things. He thinks he's still the president. So he and Bruce Springsteen, the drunk driver, and we'll talk to you about that and how he got away with it, or maybe he didn't, they are double teaming us with a new podcast called The Renegade. Now, neither of these people is a renegade. Neither of them. They are multimillionaire establishment liberals. They are liberal elites in the limousine private jet class. They are not renegades in any way, shape, or form. It's not truth in advertising. All right? So they've got this podcast, and today Bruce Springsteen got his drunk driving charge dropped. Now, I guess if ever there's a situation where the term white privilege applies, maybe this is it. I mean, after all, would a black guy get off like this? I mean, isn't that what they're saying? Isn't that what they would say if this was a Trump person or a Trump celebrity like Scott Baio or something like that? Of course. Now, let me just tell you, I do think his charges probably should have been dropped. He had a .02 of alcohol in his system. Now, he refused to take the breathalyzer on the road. That's not illegal. Usually in most states, you'll just get a ticket for that. And when he got to the station, they either took his blood. I think he blew at the station, and he was a .02. That's nothing. That's not even a quarter of a drink for the average person. So he really wasn't drunk driving. Whoever the cop is in this case, he probably, a lot of people are having a lot of laughs at his expense. But Bruce Springsteen, he lucked out. He gets away with it again. Now, this is the guy who made that Super Bowl ad where he pretended that he was a middle of the road and he wants us all to meet in the middle, when he's actually a far leftist who, as we told you, said he was going to leave the country and move to Australia if Trump was reelected, called people who supported Trump or voted for him crazies, demons, ghouls. On this podcast, now they have nothing to talk about that's of any interest. These guys, this is a job. They have to make things interesting. They don't know how to do that. He's a musician. Obama is just a flim-flam artist who flim-flammed his way to the White House and multi-hundreds of millions. They have nothing to talk about. So what do? They make it up. Barack Obama said on the podcast this week that when he was in high school or around that time, he had a very good friend. They played basketball together, and the friend hurled a racist epithet at him, and he punched the guy in the face. Do you believe that story? I mean, I'm going to tell you a story, too. I cured cancer last year, and I also won the war for us in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I was under fire And I shot bin Laden. Yeah, my stories are as true as Barack Obama's story about him punching somebody in the face. They're as true as Kamala Harris's many stories about how she spoke up as a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old at protests, and she happened to plagiarize something that a 5 or 4-year-old said in the 60s in a Martin Luther King interview with Alex Haley and Playboy, and her story that her mother said, Kamala, you're going to be the first to do many things. Make sure you're not the last. Her mother never said that. Barack Obama never punched somebody in the nose or in the face. And maybe he did experience racism. I don't know, but I don't believe this story. They need something to talk about. They're pulling it out of their rear ends. All right, when we come back, the National Association of Hags, the feminists are back, and you will not believe this hilarious video and also what they're saying about tall people. Apparently, that's anti-female. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Howdy, folks. It's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bussin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a combo roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Did you know the Foundation for Rural Service awards scholarships for rural students? The scholarships range from $2,500 to $7,000. Go to www.frs.org for information and applications. If you're a Beck Fiber customer or the dependent of a Beck Fiber customer, you might qualify for scholarships. Beck awards scholarships to seniors headed to college or to students attending University of Mary. Go to www.beck.co for eligibility guidelines and applications.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So the feminists, or as I call them, the National Association of Hags. Check it out. We've got a real organization. It's not real, but I invented it. That's my name for the feminists. The National Association of Hags. Nah. It's not the National Organization for Women. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to all feminists. Feminists who they just want to get in your face. Everything is unfair. Everything is because I'm a woman or because they're women or what have you. you know what? I've been brainwashed by the men because I'm a woman. That's probably what they're saying about me for being a conservative. Or I'm not really a woman. That's what they're probably saying about me, too. Believe me, I've had all the insults sent my way by feminists, even liberal male feminists. Yes, some men pretend they're feminists. I think they just want to get dates with ugly women. They have some kind of weird fetish. I'm just saying. But the feminists, they are the comedy gold that keeps on giving. And we have that in stark evidence here in this video. You got to look at this feminist. Watch this.
Leave me alone. Why do you keep following me? It's honestly so creepy, and I'm gonna call the cops. Okay?
Ma'am, no.
Because you guys aren't leaving me alone, and that's why women can't go out in the world by themselves because of guys like you.
What?
Okay? So stop following me.
You have? Oh, like I don't know if you have like a gas. You have a thing hanging out of your car.
What are you talking?
There's literally a gas hose hanging out of your car. No one's being creepy. Oh, no, thank you. I guess. There's the thank you. That's. Oh, she's what? She's taking it with her. She doesn't have. Get the hose.
Make sure to get all of it.
Wow, dude. You didn't even close the gas cap.
She's out here.
I could watch that video over and over again. The only thing missing from the video is one of those coexist bumper stickers on her car and also a Biden bumper sticker. Those are the only things missing, maybe a Bernie bumper sticker. You heard what she said. This is why women can't go anywhere in the world alone. Well, women who drive off with part of the gas pump probably shouldn't be going anywhere in the world alone. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right, so there's that. And now there is this Berkeley feminist who has this new thing. It's called height privilege. And apparently tall men, that's anti-women. That is a transgression against women to be born a tall male. Look at this. So this woman from Berkeley, Anita, she writes, height privilege. Yes, straight male, white males, it's a thing. It's time we discussed height privilege and how it disproportionately affects transgender, people of color, and fuels rape culture. Yeah, so anybody watching, if you're tall, you fuel rape culture. You see, there are no physical or biological differences between men and women because sex and gender are just social constructs pushed by the patriarchy. Men are generally taller than women. So when a man is very tall, the proximity of his penis is closer to the mouth of nearby shorter women. Are you serious? This woman, yes, she's for real. Women are then forced to speak into the mic every time they say something. And if they are educating a straight male by yelling at him, the mouth is open even wider, which risks exposure to bodily fluids such as semen or perhaps even urine if they're from Sweden or Germany. I don't know. Why if they're from Sweden or Germany? I don't know. But this is somebody that teaches at Berkeley, one of our nation's elite colleges. In fact, women speaking to such tall men simulates oral sex in a variety of ways, but none of them are consensual. We feminists call this PIFS, or penis and face syndrome. Yeah, all because some guy was born tall. Can't control that. At a recent feminist conference, women were finally given equality and height privilege removed by use of platform shoes, which we are currently lobbying to have made mandatory in college campus. I promise you this is not a parody. We are also intending to push thin privilege in future and force fit people to walk around campus wearing heavy weighted bags so they know just how difficult it is for cellulite diverse people. Oh, that's what it's called now. You can't say fat, it's cellulite diverse. Now, I used to call it differently digestive, but take a look at this picture. This is for real. Look at this. They are having people walk around on these platforms. But look at that guy's on a platform. Uh-oh, I think we have PIFS there. He's on those platforms too. Uh-oh, and there's another person, I think. It's a guy on one of those. This is for real. This is why college is now worthless. This is why people riot in the streets in Black Lives Matter. All these spoiled, privileged white kids who went to colleges, some of them black, but mostly white kids, This is why they were rioting in the streets this last year. This is why they were destroying property. This is why they were raging against this country, because they're taught things like that. It's crap. They're taught to hate this country. They're taught that tall men have some kind of height privilege. They're taught that you have to wear these platforms. They're taught that there's PIFS. This is what's happening to our country. And you wonder why things are a mess. You shouldn't. This is Berkeley. And yes, I know Berkeley is more liberal than other colleges and universities. But guess what? They're all pretty liberal. They all have crazies and wackos like this that in another day and age would be locked up in an asylum and never be able to get out. They'd be wearing straitjackets. Now they are educating America's kids. And this is why the kids hate America and hate themselves. God help us, America. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of things, a couple of books that have now been banned by Amazon. And we are also going to talk about race in America. Guess what? The George Floyd trial is proceeding, and also North Dakota. A few things happening there, too. That and more when we come back on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So before the break, we were talking about some of the crazy feminist hysteria, and that hysteria goes to the trans movement as well. So there are two books, one of which we told you about months ago on the show. They are both disciplined, I guess you would say, or censored by Amazon. And this is going to happen more and more and more. All these big tech giants are going to continue to silence anybody that is not far left, any ideas they don't like, any books they don't like. And Amazon used to be a place where you could find any book you wanted. You know what's still sold on there? Mein Kampf. You know what also is still sold on there? The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is an anti-Semitic book. But you know what they can't sell on there? Well, Ryan T. Anderson's book. It's called When Harry Became Sally. All right, and the subtext of the book is responding to the transgender moment. So this book has been yanked from Amazon. Ryan T. Anderson is a very thoughtful author and thinker. There's nothing wrong with this book except that it apparently doesn't take the right position. And this is going to happen more and more. And you know what? People are going to go elsewhere to buy these books. So they're not stopping anyone. Still, Amazon is a very important marketplace, and it should be deregulated. Amazon controls way too many things. It controls supermarkets. You see every third delivery truck, maybe even every second delivery truck roaming around town is an Amazon truck. Jeff Bezos controls a newspaper. He controls the cloud. And in fact, that's why Parler was shut down, because Amazon stopped supplying space in the cloud to Parler. This has got to stop. Amazon is way too powerful, and it shouldn't have power like this to silence thought and to shut down people it doesn't like and their forums. So that book was pulled, and Ryan Anderson reports that his other books are still up because they're not about trans. Now, last summer we told you about a book by Abigail Shrier. Now, her work has frequently appeared in the Wall Street Journal, and she wrote a book called Irreversible Damage, the transgender craze afflicting seducing our daughters. All right, so that book, she was not allowed to purchase ads on Amazon, and that's when it began. If her book were introduced now, it would be completely pulled, and I'm not surprised, or I am surprised it hasn't been pulled yet, but it probably will be. Unfortunately, that's where we're headed. We are headed towards a very authoritarian fascist society, and the authoritarians and the fascists are on the left. They're not anywhere else. All right, so there's that. Now, tomorrow is Dr. Rachel Levine, aka Richard Levine's confirmation hearings in the U.S. Senate to be Assistant Secretary of Health. He is a trans, and we told you about her yesterday. She supports trans operations on prepubescent children and puberty blockers, and she supports government-funded sex change operations, gender reassignment surgery, courtesy of you. This is sick. Sick, sick, sick. This will damage people's lives. For the rest of their lives, it's irreversible. Sickening. And this person has hearings tomorrow. We'll see if the senators are brave enough to ask her/him about some of these crazy whack job positions. Now, the George Floyd trial is starting next month, and March is next week, and the trial is scheduled to start. Derek Chauvin's attorneys wanted a delay. There's a voluminous amount of evidence. I think that was reasonable request. And the judge shut them down. The Court of Appeals shut them down. It's totally unfair, but his trial is going to go forward. And now, before it was Trump's Justice Department. Now that it's Biden's Justice Department, they impaneled a jury, a federal grand jury this week, to look into more charges against him. So, listen, I don't approve of sitting on somebody's neck, putting your knee on somebody's neck for 7 minutes and 46 seconds. But we know now so much about George Floyd and what was in his system that it's very disputable and debatable what caused his death. So this trial is going to go forward, and now if he gets acquitted in the state charges, even though they're supposed to be double jeopardy, there's this federal grand jury that's been impaneled, and they say a federal grand jury can be led to indict a ham sandwich, and he's going to get indicted. So if he beats those state charges, he's going to get federal charges. listen, again, I don't approve of what he did, but I don't think you can prove that his knee on George Floyd's neck was what caused this. We know so much now that really disputes that and rebukes that assertion. Now, I want to show you this poll. This was a poll done by Skeptic Magazine, and people were asked whether or not they believed that 1,000 unarmed black men were shot and killed by police in 2019. And I want you to take a look at this. How many unarmed black men were killed by police in 2019? And if you look, the majority of liberals, very liberal and liberal, believe that either 100 or 1,000 were killed by police. Guess what the number is? 13. 13 black men who were unarmed were killed by police in 2019. But people believe it's 1,000. People believe it's 1,000 or 100. A very high percentage believe it's either 100 or 1,000 because they believe the media that there's this epidemic of unarmed black men that were killed by police when it was not that many. It was 13. That is a negligible statistic. It is what we call statistically insignificant. But people believe the hype. People believe the propaganda. Now, I want to show you a picture of Abdi Manan Habib. Abdi Manan Habib was a protester after George Floyd was killed. He attacked police with rocks. He tried to light a Molotov cocktail. He is from Somalia. He's of Somalian heritage. He is Muslim. And he was sentenced to 4 months in prison. He should probably get a lot more. 4 months. That's all he's getting for trying to kill police with rocks and Molotov cocktails. And remember, things are not always as they seem. See you tomorrow.